Today, I'm cooking fideo. Okay, so what are you seasoning it with?
Salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and pepper.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. See?
I interrupted you.
Yes, you did. But it's gonna be good.
Okay.
It'll be good. Have a look.
Okay, go ahead and mix. Got it. So this is salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. Nice. Okay, so while he's mixing, I'm going to preheat the oven. I'll say 375. You probably have to make more room.
Sure.
Like scooch.
Yeah. And for coaching. 3 times 4 is 12. This is it.
Okay.
One last. What do you think?
Nice.
Oh, 3 more.
Okay. There we go. Okay, these are done. By the way, ooh, this is hot, but crispy and tender. Love it. So this is a ground, cut, take 2. So this is cumin seeds. It does have a little bit of black peppercorn. I'm going to go ahead and grind this up. In a blender cup, I'm going to add 2 Roma tomatoes, a cup of water, 3 cloves of garlic, and chicken bouillon powder, a tablespoon. A little bit of cooking oil. Here I have my 1 box of vermicelli macaroni pasta or noodles. This will be enough for like 3 to 4 single servings. So you want to make sure that you take time to toast the fideo. You want to make sure that it kind of gets that like golden brown color, and do not use a high heat setting because it'll burn before you actually evenly toast all of the little vermicelli pasta. So take your time and toast it. Do not skip this step because it does help to keep the texture of the fideo. So I've been toasting this over a medium low to low heat, and this is great. This is where I want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to take my ground up cumin seeds, put it right in here. This will sort of bloom and warm through the dry seasoning or spice here. Here I'm also going to add some sliced up onion. This was like half of a small onion. And just put that in the pot. It smells great already. Okay, going in. I got that tomato puree in there with the garlic and chicken bouillon powder. Okay, I'm gonna crank up the heat there. And then just give that a quick mix. And I want this kind of soupy, so I'm going in with an extra 3 cups of water. And you'll want to salt, pepper, and add extra seasoning to taste. And here I am going to bulk up this sopa de fideo and add this squash or zucchini. I think this is gray squash. You could add zucchini. You can add maybe some frozen peas and carrots or mixed veggies, and it really does turn it into a delicious soup. And that could be the star of the show, the meal, not just a side going in. I'm gonna add some salt, just an extra pinch. Give that a mix. And I'm gonna just sort of offset the lid to help it come up to a simmer or like a gentle boil. And then once that happens, I'm gonna lower the heat and we're going to cook this for about 10 to 12 minutes, should work. Okay. So this is done. And this is sopa de fideo. I like it extra soupy today, but like I said, instead of this whole fideo recipe utilized 4 cups of water. 1 cup went into the tomato puree and then 3 cups into the pot. But if you want to use only 3 cups for the whole recipe, that's up to you. But this is what we have today. It smells great. Right in there. I want extra soup. There we go. That's a good, yeah, so this pot will feed like 3 servings because I kind of did like extra in 1 bowl. But like I said, 3 to 4 servings works. And now let's get some chicken wings. I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to get 2. By the way, you could make this a 1-pot meal and cook the chicken with the fideo in the same pot, but we cooked the chicken and we're like thinking, what do we cook for the side? And then I thought fideo after the fact, so that's why. But this is the meal. So I love adding lime and Louisiana hot sauce. So I'm gonna do that before I go in and eat. And here's the lime. Just all over. If you don't like eating noises, tune away or scroll ahead. But this, I'm going in. So good. I can't wait to finish that. But what I wanted to say is that you definitely can make this a 1-pot meal by cooking the chicken in the pot first, removing it, toasting the fideo, and kind of adding the chicken in with the seasonings and the puree. You definitely can do that. But when we started, we didn't know what we were going to make. I just knew I needed to cook the chicken wings. And my husband's like, oh, I'll do it. Also, fideo is such a budget-friendly ingredient to incorporate in a meal. Even if I didn't have chicken, you can bulk up sopa de fideo, feed 4 people with fideo and veggies. And I sometimes like to make this meatless with like cheese quesadillas or tacos dorados on the side. It's so versatile. So if you are a vegetarian or a vegan, you definitely can do that. Let me show you 2 other ways that I love when I'm making fideo. Okay, so today I'm making a quick fideo for dinner. And I'm just going to show you how I make it. I'll be using around 5 to 7 ounces of vermicelli noodles. Here I have some chicken bouillon that I'm going to season it with. Here I have like a ½ teaspoon of cumin seeds that I kind of crushed. I'm going to add a clove of garlic and just kind of mix it and mash it in there. I typically just mince the garlic, but I thought, why not? Let me just make it a big old paste. This is going to also go into the fideo. And I'll be adding some tomato sauce, water, a little bit of onion, some pepper, salt to taste, all good. It's gonna be easy. Okay, so I have my pan preheating. To that, I'm gonna add some cooking oil, like a tablespoon or so, maybe a little over a tablespoon. And first things first, you're gonna wanna toast your vermicelli noodles. This is around, actually I think it's like 5 to 6 ounces. There's boxes that come in like the 5-ounce box or a 7-ounce bag. and you'll just have to adjust it. But what I'm gonna do first is toast this, because toasting it, just like rice, helps to keep the texture of the vermicelli noodle, so it doesn't get soggy, bloated, and just mushy. This helps to keep a firm texture when you make, you know, the fideo. And this will take some time over medium heat. Just toast it for like 5 to 7 minutes, or until you start seeing it like a golden color. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in onion, and it's just a little bit of onion. This will really flavor the fideo. And let that saute. And you'll want to keep moving the vermicelli quickly, because it will burn if you have this, you know, setting too long. And it's right kind of where I want to be. I'm going to lower the heat a little bit. Now I'm going to go in with my garlic, ground cumin, or crushed cumin paste. And cook that quickly. Oh, smells good. And you're not going to want to burn the garlic and ground cumin, so be sure to move that around quickly. Okay. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of chicken bouillon. This is granulated chicken bouillon powder. And mix that out. Oh, excuse me. And mix that in there. And like I said, make sure you're moving things around. Okay. Now let's go with our can of tomato sauce. Okay. That smells amazing. So now I'm going to add a little bit of water to the tomato can, just to get that residual. And let's do that. Gonna add the rest of my, that was 3 cups of water. I'm gonna add some cracked black pepper. I'm really kind of just trying to make this as quickly as possible, just for a quick dinner. I'm gonna have fideo with some cheese quesadillas, like crispy little quesadillas. And that's dinner, you guys. Okay, you don't want to mix this like crazy, but I want it to kind of, okay, pinch of salt going in. Maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer. Cover it with the lid, that'll bring it up to simmer quicker. Okay, so over here, I'm working on my quesadillas. They're just going to be, you know, very simple. It's something I do all the time. I have a little bit of queso fresco, and just add it right in the center. Let's see. Hold on, papito. I'm still cooking. My son. So then just, you know, you flip it and let it get toasty and crispy on the comal. Totally works. By the way, so the fideo here is already like boiling and simmering. I have the lid on, so I'm going to lower the heat. Sorry guys, it got kind of loud and I have to do a voiceover. But you'll want to let it gently simmer and boil for about 10 to 13 minutes, or until the fideo is done. Okay, so I'm going to shut off the heat, and my fideo is done. So I made this soupy. So it's more like a sopa de fideo. But if you want a drier fideo, then what you can do is, instead of adding 3 cups of water, add 2. But dinner is ready, and it's as simple and as easy and budget friendly as that. And my family loves it when I make this. So good. So this is sort of the meatless version that I was talking about, but let me show you another favorite, Fideo Loco. And I'm starting with making that blender tomato puree with fresh tomato, chicken bouillon, and just add it to your blender cup with water and puree. And at this point, I'm already toasting my fideo. And be sure to check the description below for all the measurements and ingredients for this. I'm adding fresh onion, just continue the saute. And then I'm going to make room on one side of the pot and add 1 pound of lean ground beef. That's going in. And I'm going to start to season the ground beef. And this is sort of like what I do when I just want everything in one pot. I've seen people actually cook the ground beef separate and toast it and add it later, but this is just what I do in the kitchen. So salt, pepper. I'm also going to add ground cumin, garlic powder, onion powder, and again, season to your taste. You can always add a little bit and add more later. Here I added fresh garlic to the ground beef, and you just give it a mix and continue cooking. And eventually, once it's sort of cooked through, you start mixing it up with that toasted fideo. Here I'm going to add some diced potato, and you sort of dice it like a medium to small and just saute that for several minutes and give everything a really good mix. At this point, the fideo's toasted, so the texture's there. And here I actually strained the tomato puree, but quite honestly, you could just add it all in like I did before. But for those of you that just don't want tomato skin or seeds, you can do this, because I always get a mixed bag in the comment section whether to strain or not. But if I had to be honest, I just like to add it in, seeds and all. Okay, so now give that a mix. And then to make this soupy, you're going to add your extra water. So at this point, you definitely can give the broth a taste and adjust the salt and chicken bouillon powder if you like. I'm going to add some fresh epazote and some cilantro, cover with the lid, and you're going to let that cook for like 12 to 15 minutes or until the potato's done, essentially. And the fideo's texture should hold up until the potato is cooked through, because remember, you toasted it very well. So now I'm adding some cooked beans, pinto beans, and this is Fideo Loco. You let it simmer for another 5 minutes because the beans are cooked and you can serve. So I hope you found these videos helpful, and I will see you in the next one.